name is Justin Van Ostenbridge, and I am a certified public accountant, also known as a CPA, and I'm an auditor for Ernst & Young, which is one of the big four accounting firms. So I want to talk to you about how I use math every single day of my life. Accounting, as some of you might know, is pretty much the language of business. If you're not taking an accounting class and you're interested, you should probably do that. It's a great career. That's my plug for the day. But you know, math is used every day in accounting, not just for, looking at financial statements and, debits and credits, but a big part of my job as an auditor is we're attesting to a lot of these financial statements. And within financial statements, they have certain valuations that need to be attested based on certain formulas. So one of the big things that I do frequently is we assess the value of let's say a stock compensation. If somebody's offered options of stock in a company, the company has to value that based on the current market value, and that's performed by different there's different schedules and different formulas that are used to assess that value and calculate it. So it's my job to calculate the volatility of certain companies and use that in the assessment of a fair value.
My name is Alicia, and I'm an account manager at Google for mobile apps. Even though I'm in a marketing focused role, I still use math every day to help app advertisers understand the lifetime value of their users, what they're paying per install, and how to allocate their marketing budgets appropriately on a day-to-day basis. I never thought my role would be so focused around math, but it is, and I'm really glad that I had a firm grasp on it from the beginning.
Hello, my name is Andrew, and how I use math in my job. Currently, I sell software, and we sell a product that costs a couple of $100,000, so you have to figure out how to fit that product into a company's budget, which resets every year, whether that's through tiering the product and having it cost more month over month so that it fits the overall budget over the course of 3 years, or discounting the total cost of the product. Always working with discount percentages, fractions, trying to make things work.
Vets use math a lot in their day-to-day lives, whether it be the business aspect of it, like money, or whether it be in their day-to-day activities. For example, finding the right dosage of medication to give to an animal, you have to use math. Or for anesthesia, if you want to find the rate of a drug and how it's absorbed in the body, or even for things like weight and determining how much food an animal should be getting. They all require math.
My name is Sarah, and I'm an engineer platoon leader in the Army, and I use math every day. So two of the primary ways that my guys and I use math are for technical reconnaissance and for demolition. Technical reconnaissance is when we go out and we can measure the slopes, the curves of a route, as well as we can look at a bridge, take some different measurements, and be able to assess whether or not our brigade or any element really can use that route safely. The second more exciting way is with demolition.
Oh! Oh
no! So we can do anything from blow through a door, which is just to get those infantry guys into that room. We can blow up trees, we can blow up IEDs, we can blow a hole in the road. We can do a lot with demolition. But what's very important when it comes to demolition is, one, making sure that you use the right amount. You obviously don't want that glass to be ineffective because you use too little. You also don't want to use too much. More important than making sure you use the right amount of demolition is making sure that you have the correct standoff. So you want to make sure that you and your guys are far enough away from that blast so that you can continue on with that mission safely after the explosion. So we definitely do a lot of math. In my job, all of the guys who are under me, they are doing just as much math as I am, if not more. And when we go out with those infantry and armor guys, they're doing the math right alongside us. So regardless of what you decide to do, math is probably going to be involved on a daily basis.
My major is organizational and community leadership, and I use math in all my classes. I had to take calculus, I have to take 2 semesters worth of stats, and I have to take accounting classes, finance classes. So a lot of math classes in the business world, even though I'm a leadership major.
My name is Scott. I'm the Vice President of Century Electric. We're electrical contractors and engineers in the North Jersey area. Our company does multiple commercial industrial jobs, including healthcare facilities. An example of math in our industry, we just got a hospital project that has 172 patient rooms. Of those 172 patient rooms, there's 120 foot of cable required to wire each room. However, 20% of those rooms are by the windows and require 30% more cable. So in order to place the order for the cable, we have to do the math to get to that point. Another example, we have to put up some switchgear on top of the roof of a building. The switchgear is 2 tons. It's 5 stories on the ground. It's got to go to the center of the roof. So we have to calculate the crane, the angle of the crane, to put it on top of the roof of the building. If the equipment's 2 tons, the crane you're going to need is probably going to be in the neighborhood of 100 tons because of the angle that it needs to be picked at. So this is a more technical example of math and geometry. Thank you.
My name is Olivia, and I'm a nurse at Hackensack University Medical Center. So I wanted to let you know that nurses use math every day in their careers. For example, if you have a calculation like this, if you have a medication that comes as 5,000 units in 1 milliliter, but the patient's only supposed to get 2,500 units, how many milliliters would you give the patient? Half a milliliter. So we use math like that every day. That's probably the most simplest form we use, and it does get complicated.
My name's Pete. I'm an owner of a pizzeria. I use math all day, every day, from people paying and giving change. I got to figure out how much that is, and then down to the orders of the food, like the size. So if there's X amount of wings in a bag and I give out Y with them, I got to figure out the profit margin on the total amount sold until it's profitable, things like that. Same with the pizza, how much the cheese costs, how much the flour cost, and use math like that to get to a profitable situation.
Hi, so I'm a hairstylist, and you would think that you don't use math at all in that industry, but I actually use it every day. For example, when I mix color, I have to do 1 part color, 2 parts developer. It's very simple math, but it's still math nonetheless. Also, when I'm lifting people certain volumes, if I'm going from a level 7 to a level 10, I have to know to use 30 volume because it's going to lift exactly 3 levels. And again, like I said, it's very simple math, but it's still math, and I definitely use it every day.
I work for a law firm. It's a small family-run firm that I've been at for the past 30 years. Billing admin. I'm responsible for doing the invoices at the end of a month. And occasionally one of the attorneys will come and ask me to give them a voluntary reduction, just as a courtesy. So I'll have to figure out the percentage of each attorney's fees to allocate the correct percentage that's due to them.
My name is Alyssa. I am a supervisor of operations for a workman's compensation insurance company. I currently have 22 people who work under me, and I use math every day. I have to divvy up work for them to do. What we do is we call patients to get them scheduled for diagnostic exams, meaning any kind of MRI, CAT scans, nerve conduction studies, and we have to divvy up the work to make sure that they have stuff to do for 8 hours a day. One of the things that I use to help me with that, along with many other reports, is Microsoft Excel, which they use mathematical equations to help me assist with how much work they're doing for the day, as everyone needs to meet a productivity standard. I also have to deal with payroll, make sure that the hours match the hourly pay for my people, and we pretty much use math every single day. I can't imagine not using it at all.
Always listen to Mr. Mangieri, what he says. He's right half the time. Stay in school, don't do drugs, nib high football rules. All right, I'm out.